sometimes we have to look outside the box. Sometimes we have to look at maybe even in hiring, not every single box is set, not every requirement is met, and see where that will take you. Look at what the person, who they are, what they have to bring, what they have to share.
There are opportunities for our work and careers everywhere, if you know where to look. That's easier said than done, especially in our fast-paced and constantly changing world. Marianne Fairmouth is talking to experts, employers, and job seekers to bring you insight and understanding about what's possible. This is Career Can Do, where we're navigating the new work world.
Welcome to the Career Can Do podcast, a top global podcast dedicated to helping you navigate the new work world and beyond. My name is Marianne Fairmouth, and I'll be your host for this episode. And today, I am excited because we have a podcast that really has some great information in it. And if you're a person, whether you be an employer or a candidate, is looking to leverage your opportunities, build your brand, or make a difference, this is a podcast you don't want to miss. I'm so excited that I have the opportunity to talk with Kevin Price on the Price of Business show. So take a listen, and we look forward to hearing your feedback.
Welcome back to the nationally syndicated Price of Business show. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Love having on the program Marianne Fairmouth. She is one of my favorites. She is someone who's been with my show for several years. She has been the author now. She's author now of several books. Very creative person, a powerful networker, very invested in the life of others, which is all among the reasons why we love having her as a part of our team here on the Price of Business. Marianne, I also know that you are phenomenal in a space that's very challenging for virtually everyone, which is in the executive search business. And you've been doing this for a very long time. I'd love for you to talk, and I've only heard great things from people who have, talked to you in this space, and I have also spoken often to others about you, so I know your ears burn. But talk a little bit about that.
Okay, well, thank you, Kevin. First of all, it's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you, and I really have the greatest respect for Kevin and his show, and his show has really contributed to expanding my brand. But my business in this arena started back in the early 80s. I was with a big three automotive company. I was with Ford Motor Company for 5 years, and I was in the wrong job. And in 81, the job market or the automotive industry kind of went down. And also Michigan was having some real challenges. And the slogan was, the last one in Michigan, turn out the lights. So I don't know if I was one of the last ones, but I did come to Houston with some friends. And my boss said, go to Houston, try your wings, give it 6 months. If it doesn't come back to Michigan, I'll give your job back. So I thought, what do I have to lose? So I came out here and worked for a big firm for 5 years. And then after that, I started my own firm. So I'm an executive recruiter. I'm certified by the Board of Regents in Washington, D.C. I place professionals. I do a lot in the pipeline service industry. But I've expanded, again, my platform from that. I've also written 3 books. I have a global podcast show that's going up in rankings, global rankings, which I'm proud of. And I write, obviously, every week for Kevin. So I do a few things, but my recruiting practice is really the backbone of everything I do. And yes, as Kevin said, it is challenging these days. We have an unprecedented talent shortage, but I believe there are solutions to that. And I try to offer people those solutions on my podcast show as well as in the articles I write.
Yeah, well, my parents and I left in 1975 from Michigan, and we were saying the exact same thing. The last one to leave, turn out the lights. So that mantra has been going on for a long time. Fortunately, there's great things. We could do a whole segment on the revival of Michigan. I'm excited about what's going on up there.
I love it. I think their art gallery is the number one in the world. I mean, Michigan, Detroit area where I'm from, has gotten, it's recovered from so many things and really expanded culturally and business-wise in so many ways. So I'm proud to say I'm from that area.
Yeah, me too. Give your website, by the way, before I get into my questions about, all the things you've done since being with our media.
It's fairmouth.com. That's FAREMOUTH.com. And on my website is listed all the services I provide, the things I do, the books I've written, the podcast that is nationally syndicated. So all those things are on my website, fairmouth.com.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of, several writers that work with us, and we got people who are New York Times best-selling authors. I've been told by an editor from actually another major news publication. I don't like to say because they get embarrassed when I've mentioned it, but we have like the second or third largest archives of interviews with New York Times best-selling authors out there in terms of ranking. That alone is phenomenal. We've had Nobel Prize winners. We've had Pulitzer Prize winners, heads of government agencies and cabinet members. And so we love the people we have on. My favorite people, though, are people like you who are in the real world of business. So many of the people I talk to, like the, huge list, they're prestigious people that are iconic almost people that I interview. They've got kind of a detachment from reality. And I love my team of contributors like yourself who are in the real world who do phenomenal work. And for me, what's been really rewarding is watching you and the time you've been with me now, which has been a number of years, come with your ideas. You had one book that was just being finished when we first met, and it's been out there and it's won awards and great success. You had a second book that came out after that. And then you had a third book that came out, which I love the way you made that third book. I look at the chapters in that book, and I was like, wow, this is a lot like your articles that you have throughout the Price of Business Digital Network. What a brilliant reutilization of content. I think it's phenomenal. Talk a little bit about how the show has certainly contributed to you becoming a nationally and internationally even recognized author. I think it's phenomenal.
Well, it's been a wonderful experience, Kevin, and I'm so grateful to know you and be on your show. During COVID, I think all of us had time to reflect and think and review what was going on in our life. And during that time, of course, I was writing articles for Kevin, the Price of Business show that would go on USA Daily Post and Times and some of his other venues. But I started to think during COVID about how so many things were connected. And again, I was writing these articles about the challenges of personally and professionally we're all going through and putting them on Kevin's show. And then a thought occurred to me that why don't I take some of those articles that seem to be getting some good response and expand them a bit and put them in a book. So Kevin's program that allowed me to write articles also gave me the opportunity to produce another book from those articles. So I guess what I'm saying is that I took the opportunity I had with Kevin and the good response I was getting and put them into a book. So I mentioned this to Kevin earlier on, but there's a quote from Winston Churchill that's always resonated with me, and it goes like this: "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." So my practice, I call myself a holistic recruiter. Yes, I'm a businesswoman. Yes, I'm a consultant and all those things. But at the end of the day, I think I'm a little bit more holistic, which is maybe suggesting I look more at who the person is, putting them in alignment. But Kevin gave me the opportunity to be on the show, and that was a great opportunity. And so, I took that opportunity and I used that opportunity to expand the platform and put out something in the world that I thought would help others. So as Winston Churchill said, that's what I did. But if I wouldn't have had that opportunity with Kevin, I'm not sure this third book would have come out. So I guess what I'm trying to suggest to our listeners is take the opportunities you have and look at what you can do to use those opportunities to maybe expand upon them and turn them into vehicles to help others. If you can do that, it's a win-win for everybody. Don't you think, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. And I read your articles, and frankly, you know how much content we produce. It's insane, frankly, how many articles, how many interviews we do. And in fact, there's well-known media that are kind of shocked by what we do. But I have certain people like you that I kind of religiously read. I'm sure you recall, I said, hey, you really ought to produce a book from this content you're making. I don't know if you remember me writing you that. I said, you got a book here. You got a book in the works.
When you said that, I said, Kevin, I'm on that project right now.
Exactly. Yeah, you're already doing it. What I saw was phenomenal about it, and this is something that I encourage anyone, that they're making content for anyone, especially something with a brand like we have, a nationally syndicated show with billionaires and New York Times best-selling authors, that they can kind of wrap it up in. Man, why wouldn't you do something like that? Now, everyone doesn't have that, but a lot of people are producing content. They ought to consider looking at that content production. You were writing up to 1,000 words a week, typically, and you parlayed that, and sometimes more. You parlayed that into essentially blogging a book. Man, I think it's phenomenal, and I love all three of your books, but frankly, that's my favorite because I know how you made that book.
Too. And, the book's called Revolutionary Results, and it's dedicated to my two sons and my beautiful granddaughter, Scarlett, because I believe the results that they've produced and who they are as individuals make me very proud. And so this book, my forte is the employment recruiter, but this book is not so much about finding a job, but finding a life and looking at how everything in life is connected. I mean, I have articles in there about butterflies and dragonflies and playing baseball and working for my dad. I mean, I look at all those lessons. It's about lessons. And I'm also proud to say, I have to put a plug in here too, Kevin, if you don't mind, that the foreword is written by the CEO of Dale Carnegie of Texas, David Wright. I speak at many conventions, and I heard him speak and asked him if he would write my foreword. And, he read the manuscript and did. So I guess this is all about taking the platform you have, expanding it, but also, meeting people like Kevin Price. And I'm honored to be on his show because I'm not a Wall Street or New York Times bestseller. I'm an Amazon bestseller. But I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be on his show because I didn't have all the credentials maybe that usually a person like him looks for in one of their guests. But having this opportunity has, I think, benefited both of us. And more than that,
Absolutely.
I think about the new work world is that sometimes we have to look outside the box. Sometimes we have to look at maybe even in hiring, not every single box is set, not every requirement is met, and see where that will take you. Look at what the person, who they are, what they have to bring, what they have to share. That's what I've done, I think, with the Price of Business show.
Yeah, certainly we're going to be playing Beat the Clock here soon. But I did want to ask, or I did note how you parlayed those books, leveraging your brand is substantial, but that included your work with our media in things that led to you being noticed when it came to getting major awards for your work. Your work is really well recognized, including with accolades and awards. And a lot of that came down to you being strategic about all the things you do in pursuit of that.
Well, yeah, I belong to a lot of professional organizations, and I speak at those organizations. I'm kind of a perennial student. I'm always reading and taking classes and learning, and I do have a great writing coach also, Max Reagan. I have to take my hat off to. That helps me in a lot of ways. But what I've done, Kevin, is, I've expanded my platform by continuing to learn. I never stop learning. And I think that gives me information that is worth sharing with others. But again, you can have all the information in the world, but if you don't have a platform to share it on, it's not going to go anywhere. And so a company like Kevin, like the Price of Business, is that platform. So if you're working with Kevin or someone like Kevin, make sure you use the opportunity to expand your platform because I know it can be done. And I think I'm an example of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wanted to do this as both encouragement because there's a lot of people who are using or considering using a lot of different means to try to build their brand, to become influencers, thought leaders, if you will, plus in order to develop relationships with major personalities that further help their brand. And, people I know who have done that, I consider you among the most capable. I think you've done a phenomenal job. You're very strategic on how you do it, which is something I've always encouraged people to do. You're both aspirational and inspirational. So I think that's really important. Let's begin to wrap it up with some final thoughts on your part and give your website one more time.
All right. First of all, be open to new opportunities and continue to investigate what they might be that would serve who you are and what you do. But of course, meeting someone like Kevin Price has been a real honor to me. I appreciate knowing him and the opportunity I have. Please check into the Price of Business. It's an amazing media vehicle that will help you with your brand. Again, my name is Mary Ann Fairmouth. I am a recruiter. I do specialize or focus on the pipeline service industry. I also have a global podcast show. I have a top 40 career podcast that just got ranked up to number 11. It's called Career Can Do. But I also do consulting for clients, going and help people that are maybe really dealing with this great resignation and help them work with how they can have their teams perform better. But overall, I'm a recruiter. I'm a gal from Detroit that works hard. I love what I do. I love family. Kevin's always been very supportive of me. Because he's a Detroiter, there's a special bond here. But more than that.
Yeah. Detroit Mafia.
Don't go with that. It's a good guy, Kevin. But anyway, yeah, look at what you're doing, how you can expand. But I think I want to leave everybody with this thought. If you can expand what you're doing and make your purpose to give a message, put a message out there, do whatever you're doing to help somebody else become better, I don't think you're ever going to fail. All right. And that's what I've done. Pablo Picasso said, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
Yeah, and you've leveraged my media plus the other success you've had to become an Uber networker. Again, the forward in your book, the kind of person you were able to get to write the forward of your book is really a product, or a part of the product, if you will, a result of the incredible networking you're able to do because of the brand work you've done, which, of course, has included your work with us. So it's amazing what you've done. We're delighted you've done this work with us. And I always look forward every week. I see your email exchange with my team, and it's like, oh, here comes another article, and I keep an eye out for it. I'm always happy with your work and always love getting to chat with you.
Well, Kevin, it's my pleasure, and I feel so privileged to know you, to be a part of what you do, and I look forward to writing articles for you. I really do, because, they are nationally syndicated, and I really appreciate knowing someone like Kevin Price and Investigate the Price of Business show. It's a great vehicle. And again, Kevin, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's just been such a pleasure, and I hope I can continue to contribute to your great media platform.
Well, we love having you. Marianne Fairmouth, thanks so much. I am Kevin Price. You are listening to the nationally syndicated Price of Business show. Stay tuned for more after this.
Thanks so much for listening to the Career Can Do podcast. You can download us on all major podcast channels and go to our website, fairmouth.com, for information on the services Marianne Fairmouth does provide. And we'll see you all next time. Thanks. Bye-bye. We thank you for tuning in to our Career Can Do podcast. We make no guarantees on results for your particular quest, but we hope you enjoy the information presented. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely that of the guest or speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Marianne Fairmouth and Fairmouth & Company. Thank you.